We're back again, folks. Thanks for coming along to watch copious movie reviews, which most of you don't even want. Most of you guys tune in when I'm doing the fast food reviews or any food reviews. But I like doing these the most, so that's what you're getting. Today we are going to be reviewing this 1998 film that Nicole has been wanting to watch. We only had it on VHS, but she wanted that crisp digital version, so she picked it up on DVD.
You couldn't find the VHS copy?
No. So now we
I'll go look for it. That doesn't
matter. We got the reference here.
Okay.
Ever After, starring Drew Barrymore and Angelica Houston. Ever After, a Cinderella Story is the full name. Directed by a guy named Andy Tennant, 2 hours and 1 minute runtime. Andy Tennant is known for directing 90s and 2000s romantic comedies based off of my brief internet search. He also directed the classic It Takes Two, starring Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen and Kirstie Alley.
Oh, dear.
And he directed the early 2000s classic Sweet Home Alabama, just to name a few of his notable movies.
Kirstie Alley, rest in peace. I'm so sad still.
Rest in peace.
I miss her. It's really sad.
So, the movie had a $26 million budget, and it went on to gross $98 million at the box office. It was number 30 in 1998 for movies of profitability.
Oh.
Number 1 was Titanic, which was released in December of 97 and pretty much was the dominant movie of 98 as well. So
that makes sense.
2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah.
Critics really enjoyed this movie. Rotten Tomato critics average is 91%. IMDb 7.1 out of 10. And 221 people on Google have submitted their own average Joe rating for an average score of 4.7 out of 5.
Wow.
So, people panned the film for being set in the 1500s, but Drew Barrymore had more of a 90s feminist women's progressive attitude, and she would have never have gotten away with that in real life if it was really the 16th century. You see, the movie is set in the 1500s, but then it also variates between the 19th century, where her great-great-granddaughter is meeting with the fairy tale writers, the Brothers Grimm.
Great-great-grandmother. Same thing.
The great-great-granddaughter is talking about the great-great-grandmother, which is the Drew Barrymore person.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
It kind of variates in the very beginning of the movie and the end of the movie in the 19th century, but it takes place mostly in the 15th century. The movie was filmed on location in France. It has several real-life characters woven in, Leonardo da Vinci, so on and so forth. I don't really have anything else to say about it, because this is not a movie that I would have ever picked out to review, but I make you watch movies that I want to watch, so I guess it's only fair that we watch your
romantic
like it,
though?
comedy.
For the most part?
Overall, I think I would say that I'm 3 out of 5. It was okay, but it's just...
That's wrong. So wrong.
What? It's just not my type of movie. I like Drew Barrymore. She's easy on the eyes, but they're doing these British...
It?
Okay, listen. It takes place in France, but they all have English accents.
And they're speaking English, and they have
I needed
British
authentic
accents.
French language with subtitles. No.
That would have been a lot more difficult to follow. But
Okay, there was parts of it that I liked. I liked the Angelica Houston character. You love to hate her. She's this terrible stepmother, just like in the Cinderella fairy tale,
Yeah, she's pretty bad.
And then the one stepsister is awful. The prince character is much more snobbish than I remember him in the Disney animated classic.
Yeah, he starts off very arrogant for sure.
And then the whole Leonardo da Vinci thing kind of seems more cheesy to me, but...
Oh, I love it.
I don't know. And like I said, this is not a movie that I would have watched.
It is kind of cheesy, but it adds more depth to the characters.
And obviously I'm wrong, because most people love this movie. 91% Rotten Tomato score. What's your rating on the 1 to 5?
I'm sorry, I'm 5 out of 5. I freaking love this movie. I can't think of anything wrong with it at all.
What else?
It's one of my all-time faves.
The costumes are great.
So I'm 5 out of 5.
Some of the acting is great, enjoyable, but it's just, to me, it's just kind of a cheesy movie. I don't know.
The prince is played by an actor named Doug Ray Scott. I don't know what else he's been in. I didn't research it.
There wasn't a whole lot of information
on it. He's not well known, because our friend pointed out that Drew Barrymore's name and Angelica Houston's name made it on the box, but the name of the prince
and he was a main
did
guy.
not. And he was one of
He
the
had
main
that
characters.
luscious hair.
He did. His hair was longish.
Yeah.
The cinematography is just really
it does.
good.
It has okay. So
Yeah.
it is. I will say,
Yeah.
the scenery is beautiful. All the scenery is beautiful. They kind of used that Steven Spielberg soft feel, so it kind of felt like that. It felt like an 80s movie, kind of like a Princess Bride type of a vibe. I kind of picked up on that influence a little bit, but it was definitely a movie of the 90s. It's a movie of its time, but it's an enjoyable movie. Does it seem dated? No, I don't know. I think it holds up.
Oh,
It's
because
an
it was
enjoyable.
set in the
It was set in the 1500s.
century,
Yeah,
so.
but you could still see, okay, that's a movie of the 90s. Like, it has that vibe.
Yeah. It's just a sweet love story, but there's also more than just romantic scenes. There's some battling and some quarreling between the prince and his parents, kind of the typical, he doesn't want to be a prince. He wants to do something else with his life. And then his parents want him to figure things out. So it's kind of a coming of age with the prince and him figuring out his life. And then she's, trying to figure out her place, and they've reduced her to this servant role. And then it's kind of different.
It starts off very tragically.
Yeah. Someone might want to watch it, but
no
this
spoilers.
is an old movie, but it does start
off
tragically in the beginning. And then, she's kind of a heroine because she helps the different servants. One of them gets sold, and she
it says right here, she's
get him back.
a modern young woman who is independent and wise. Against remarkable odds, she stands up against her scheming mother-in-law.
Yeah. I mean, you could say maybe it does have some feminist vibes because she is very strong-willed.
Yeah,
and
she reminds me of
she's a hard
Claire
worker.
from Outlander.
And she's very independent. She kind of does what she wants to do and doesn't really care. Like, she does the right thing, though.
Yeah.
So you do love her for that. And then there's some other characters like the Leonardo da Vinci character, and then like the gypsies.
He's calling people out on their crap and putting that prince in his face for because the prince character kind of is like, I don't know if I could marry her because she's this not a noble person. And
he's like, she's your match, though.
He's speaking truth at a time when people were just believing in a more of a caste type of system.
And then they also had the gypsies, which was kind of a fun, fun few characters. There's quite a few gypsies.
I like this catch line on the back of the box. Having the courage to make your dreams come true. And believe in the strongest magic of all, the power of the human heart. There you go.
So, sounds cheesy, but
you know what?
It's got good themes.
And like I said, that 3 out of 5, it's just like, I'm sure yesterday I made you off and on watch The Thing. That's not your type of movie. This is not my type of movie.
I gave it a 1 out of 5.
We're in different realms of cinematic interest here.
I do feel like some guys would probably enjoy watching this, though, because it does have some battle.
And I do enjoy a good chick flick from time to time. Like for example, When Harry Met Sally, that's a classic. That's a 5 out of 5.
When they battle the gypsies in the forest, and then also there's some sword fighting towards the end. I don't want to give it away, but there's some peril and suspense, like a little bit. So that gives it some personality. It's more than just
And obviously it was popular, and it almost made $100 million at the box office in 98, going up against Titanic, right? Which was the dominant movie. So even though it was number 30 in profitability of movies ranked 1 through 100 for 98, it's, And
I will say it's a little bit different than the classic fairy tale because the stepmother and both of the stepsisters were evil in that one. And in this one, they do kind of make the character of one of the stepsisters a lot more lovable because she tries to stick up for Danielle, who's the Cinderella
that was another problem that I had. I felt like the Danielle name was like, is that a common French name in the 16th century? It just seems way too modern for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm.
She
Maybe
uses
I don't
her
wanna-
mom's name in part of the movie, which is Nicole,
Yeah,
which is
it's a common French
common
name,
French
right?
name,
So,
and happens to be my name.
there
So
you go.
that
Well,
made me love the movie too.
We
I
got
guess
kids
more.
breaking down the door.
But
So
anyways, all you women out there, if you are tired of jump scares and people getting buried alive or falling to their death, this might be a happier movie for you, like it is for me.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time for another review.
Another rom-com.
Probably.
Maybe not.
Thanks for watching, folks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.